The 18th century walker and writer Elizabeth Carter claimed her favourite walks were those taken in whistling winds and driving snows. Carter wasn't as unusual as we might think. Over the years, hundreds of walkers have expressed an enduring love for ice-blasted walks in the glacial depths of winter. In Christiana Ritter's astounding account of living in the Arctic Circle, she describes her daily walk in temperatures of -35 degrees centigrade. "I take my walk every day, in circles, 10 times, 20 times, over the uneven snowdrifts that are frozen as hard as steel." Walking to Lhasa in 1924, the explorer, Alexandra David Neyal, who famously mastered the ancient meditative practice of tumo reskiang to self-heat, was stunned into enthralled silence by the immensity of snow and everlasting immaculate whiteness. Later, having trudged through miles of knee-high snow, she pronounced it paradise. And yet for many of us, winter is the time we choose not to walk, preferring to stay home in the warm and dry. Big mistake. Decades after Carter, Ritter, and David Neyal embraced the cold, scientists are finally disentangling the extraordinary changes that take place in our bodies and brains when we spend time in moderate cold. Of course, ice, snow, and cold have been used to heal for centuries. Egyptian manuscripts refer to the use of cold water for reducing inflammation. British monks used ice as a form of anaesthetic, and a 19th century English physician called James Arnott used salt and crushed ice to reduce the pain of headaches and cancerous tumours. Fast forward to Japan in the year 2000, and one of the first modern experiments to hint at the complexities of cold. Researchers identified two groups of female walkers. One group wore long skirts, covering every inch of leg, and the other group wore miniskirts, exposing their legs from ankle to thigh. The women agreed to wear the same skirts for a year and to have their legs regularly scanned. At the end of winter, magnetic resonance imaging, MRI scans revealed that the legs of the miniskirted women had acquired an extra layer of fat. The legs of the long-skirted women, however, remained unchanged. This doesn't mean that exposure to cold makes us fat. Quite the reverse, as scientists were about to uncover. At the time, it was thought that only hibernating mammals and babies carried a protective wrapping of brown fat, despite emerging studies inferring that a few adults, outdoor workers in Scandinavia, for example, might also have pockets of it secreted beneath their skin. It was to be another decade before American researchers discovered the remarkable truth about brown fat, sometimes called brown adipose tissue, BAT, or BAT. The cold-induced fat acquired by the Japanese miniskirt wearers. In spite of its unfortunate name, brown fat is entirely free of the harmful lipids associated with excessive white or yellow fat. In fact, brown fat is a more effective fat burner than anything else, including muscle tissue, which might explain why thin, active people often carry more brown fat than their larger, more sedentary counterparts. But the most dramatic discovery came when researchers analysed brown fat and found it packed with mitochondria, the tiny factories inside our cells that convert the food we eat and the oxygen we breathe into a form of energy called adenosine triphosphate, ATP. ATP supports every cellular process in our body. Brown fat exists to keep us warm and breathing, alive, which explains why a flash of cold spurs it into life, increasing our metabolism, regulating our appetite, improving our insulin sensitivity, halting the premature death of our cells.